continues to walk him down. I don't know if it's going to be the right game plan long haul, but the interesting thing to me is Pedraza's more.
I know fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford's feud has gone from online arguments to a more personal level after Davis interrupted Crawford's Instagram live session.
Hopefully I fight Ryan again. If they not on some whole shit, I text that ass again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean?
Things between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford are escalating quickly, with tensions likely to turn physical soon. Before that happens, Davis took aim at Crawford after Crawford mocked him online.
The interesting thing to me is Pedraza is more powerful
As expected, Terence Crawford eventually blocked Davis, but not before Davis fired back, challenging Crawford to stop hiding behind the keyboard. Davis called Crawford a 40-year-old beggar, a jab he had made on X, formerly Twitter. He also took aim at Crawford's relationship with the Saudis, accusing him of declining their offers because he didn't want to be at anyone's mercy.
Stop talking that out. Stop it, knock it off, cuz. Stop it.
Crawford didn't say much, just telling Davis to fight Shakur Stevenson's son, or Kessan Davis instead. But Davis fired back, saying he'd go after the bigger target, Crawford himself. Crawford responded with, "Let's go then." The current World Boxing Association lightweight champion Davis was clearly frustrated about not being invited to the prestigious Ring Magazine Awards. The event, which took place at the historic Royal Naval College in London, brought together many of the sport's top names, including Alexander Usyk, Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Lennox Lewis, and many others. Ring Magazine, now owned by Alal Sheikh, shared a famous image from the event on their social media.
Easier for Davis by staying right there. Yeah, he's testing the young man. Maybe he's
Davis shared the same image from Matchroom Boxing's Instagram and posted a harsh message, criticizing Alal Sheikh and everyone at the event. He questioned why some fighters weren't invited, pointing out that only those aligned with certain people were included. Davis then took aim at Eddie Hearn, calling him out for thinking he had made a big move and told everyone there to fight each other, given their strong roster.
Why I said that? Because he was already talking like he was back in Devin. Like, Devin's my guy. Like, all right, cool. Y'all want me to fight over there?
Davis didn't hold back, criticizing those who support Alal Sheikh, saying he's not actually helping boxing. He also questioned why Sheikh isn't helping fighters from his own area. Davis went on to call out fighters who took big paydays to fight in Saudi Arabia, mocking the idea that they had to go there to make money. He proudly stated, "I make money where I'm from, America."
First.
Yeah.
Send me some first.
Right.
I don't gotta fight. You know why fighters going over there? Because they can't sell here. I can sell here. So
round fight, they told him you don't need to basically put all the weight on all your shots. Just poke holes through them.
Some of these fighters are traveling to Saudi Arabia, getting beat in front of tiny crowds. But because they're making big money, it's seen as okay. While I respect Davis for standing firm on not wanting to fight there, his criticism of other fighters seems more like jealousy than real concern for boxing. Terence Crawford had the perfect response for him when he weighed in on the matter. Fine. Crawford tweeted, laughing at the fact that someone was upset about not being invited to the Ring Magazine Gala. He mentioned how he felt the same way once, but by then, his career was already on track. In response, Davis fired back, claiming he still makes more money than Crawford. He went on to say that Crawford isn't chasing greatness, he's just doing what he needs to do to make a decent living.
Pedraza opening up on Davis along the ropes. Packing the body.
In a heated exchange on Twitter, Terence Crawford responded to Gervonta Davis by calling him foolish. Crawford pointed out that the first thing a rich person often says to another rich person is, "I have more money than you, I own more investments, and I don't owe any taxes." He added that there's nothing Davis can buy that he can't, and challenged him to see whose wealth lasts longer. Davis said with scorn. Crawford also noted that aside from the Ryan Garcia fight, he has earned significantly more than Davis thanks to his high-profile bouts with fighters like Madrimov and Spence, compared to Davis's matches with Frank Martin, Hector Luis Garcia, and his upcoming opponent. Crawford wasn't done yet. He responded to Davis, saying, "Don't talk too soon. You're definitely not making more than me. Look at who you've been fighting. That's why you're still talking about a fight with Ryan Garcia." To back up his point, Crawford shared a post from boxing journalist Mike Coppinger, which highlighted the significant difference in earnings between him and Davis.
After. He's 5-0 over 12-round fights. Davis never passed 9.
Outside of his fight with Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford has earned significantly more than Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Crawford's earnings from his matchups with fighters like Madrimov and Spence are far higher than Tank's paydays from bouts with Frank Martin, Hector Garcia, and his upcoming fight with Roach. The rivalry between the two continues to heat up, with Davis posting criticisms of Crawford, but quickly deleting them afterward. Things even got so intense that Crawford recently mentioned a potential fight with Davis on The Breakfast Club, a popular morning radio show. Despite Crawford being undefeated and never stopped, Tank boldly predicted that he would beat the three-time world champion if they ever faced off.
I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look? 147?
In a recent interview, Gervonta Davis confidently claimed that if he fought Terence Crawford, he'd knock him out by the 6th round. But Crawford wasn't fazed. He laughed off Tank's prediction, pointing out that Tank is staying at lightweight for a reason. Crawford noted that while great fighters often get called out by others from different weight classes, Tank has yet to move up to 147 pounds, where Crawford fights. Crawford made it clear that he doesn't expect Tank to come up to his weight anytime soon. It's just talking big.
I tap that chain, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know he is.
Ain't got no chance.
I already know he is.
You said no chance.
I got round 5.
Big lock. He is making the most out of his big opportunity here tonight.
Tank Davis has built a reputation for his knockout power, having dropped Ryan Garcia twice in their April fight, winning by knockout in the 7th round. But Crawford, who's been dominating the welterweight division, isn't easily impressed. At 35, Crawford has knocked out every opponent he's faced in the 147-pound division since moving up 5 years ago. While Tank is confident in his abilities, moving up to 147 and thinking he can easily knock out Crawford is a different challenge altogether. Crawford has proven time and time again that he's a level above the competition at this weight.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to,
Someone gets through.
Yeah, Davis attacking the body now.
Crawford made history by knocking down Errol Spence for the first time in Spence's 10-year career, doing so in the 2nd round and adding 2 more knockdowns in the 7th, eventually securing a 9th-round TKO victory. Standing almost 3 inches taller than Davis, Crawford argued that if they fought, he wouldn't get full credit for the win because Tank would be jumping up 2 weight classes. However, the potential payday would be enough to get Crawford in the ring with Davis if the fight were offered.
There to be great. He can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes, and daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell me.
Crawford said he'd fight Davis at 147 since it's a huge payday, but he doubts he'd get the credit he deserves. He explained that people would likely say he only won because Davis is too small. Tank fights at 135, and while he has power, moving up to 147 would be a huge challenge. Crawford pointed out that the weight difference, nearly 12 to 20 pounds, is a big jump, and that's something people may overlook. The weight difference presents a tremendous obstacle to Crawford's carefree life. When he's
Come up there.
You gotta come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him come and touch it.
Wow, man. Gervonta said,
Good IQ.
You got to either move your head or you got to catch and shoot off there. You can't just catch.
Surprisingly, Crawford is now considering making the same move he once mocked Davis for. On the Joe Rogan Experience, Crawford discussed his future plans, including a possible fight with Canelo Alvarez. He confidently stated, "This is my era, and no one's going to stop me." He admitted that moving up to face Canelo would be a major challenge, but it's something he's always wanted to do. Crawford praised the idea of moving up 3 weight classes, from 147 to 168 pounds, and possibly becoming undisputed, saying it would be an incredible achievement. When asked about the fight, he He said he'd like to face Canelo at 168 pounds and targets the winner of Canelo versus Jermell Charlo, claiming it would be one of the biggest matchups in boxing. However,
from 147 to 168 and the win, become undisputed. Wow.
I want to go up to 68.
Davis finds another opening with the right hand, just misses with that laser left.
Crawford, 40, seems bothered by the idea of moving up in weight classes. If he believes in his abilities and thinks the size difference with Canelo wouldn't be an issue, since Canelo is only 5'8" and not particularly tall. Crawford said, "I think it could happen, honestly, and it could be the biggest fight in boxing if Canelo beats Charlo." Initially, Canelo had dismissed the idea, especially after his win over Jermell Charlo, stating that Crawford wasn't on his radar. However, Canelo has recently hinted that if the financial offer from Saudi Arabia is significant enough, he might consider taking on the challenge.
So who would you fight at 68? Canelo?
If he win, or Charlo, the winner.
Wow. That would be crazy.
I want to be 3-time.
His confidence is growing by the second.
Feints and baits him out of position.
A few days after Terence Crawford said he'd be willing to move up 3 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds, Canelo, who had previously shown little interest, softened his stance. In an interview with BoxingScene.com, the undisputed super middleweight champion said he'd be open to fighting Crawford if the welterweight champion's comments were serious. Quote, Canelo expressed his respect for Crawford, calling him a great fighter, but added that it seemed odd to talk about a fight between him and a 147 lb fighter like Crawford, when Charlo, who is 5'11" and much bigger, is already a challenge. Canelo said, "I don't understand why people are talking about this now."
You know, I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he's not in the plan. Like I say, it makes sense maybe.
Canelo Alvarez stated that while he doesn't seek credit for fighting Crawford, he's open to the idea if the circumstances make sense. He's willing to move up and down in weight and fight anyone. So a fight with Crawford is possible. Initially, Canelo had rejected a fight with Crawford because Crawford wanted to meet at a catchweight of 158 or 160 pounds. Canelo also felt that beating the smaller Crawford wouldn't add to his legacy. However, after hearing Canelo's latest comments, Crawford responded by tweeting that a fight with Canelo would be the biggest in boxing. Crawford also made it clear that he would be willing to pack on 21 pounds to move up to 168 pounds for the opportunity to face Canelo and prove himself.
Disputed.
I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he need to enjoy his fight.
Okay,
he deserves it. He deserves it. I like Spence, but
Has blown the majority of his competition out in the early rounds, but again has never faced.
Terence Crawford has expressed interest in fighting Jermell Charlo, but if Charlo loses to Canelo Alvarez, Crawford sees it as a major challenge. Moving up 3 weight classes, from 147 pounds to 168 pounds, and becoming undisputed would be a huge feat. A fight between Crawford and Alvarez seems more possible when you consider the details of their careers. An opening topic, both fighters are 5'8" tall, with Crawford having a 3.5-inch reach advantage. Alvarez began his career in 2005 at 139 pounds, while Crawford started in 2007 at 137 pounds. Both fighters are also aligned with Al Haymon's premier boxing champions, which could make the fight even more likely.
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
we'll see. We'll see. Everything is.
Someone fight gets through.
Davis attacking the body now, showing good IQ.
You got.
Canelo Alvarez has been competing at higher weight classes for years, with his most recent fight at 175 pounds. His last appearances at 147 pounds were back in 2010, at 154 pounds in 2016, and 160 pounds in 2019. If size really isn't a big issue, a highly anticipated super fight between Alvarez and Crawford could be a reality in 2024.
Possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well, and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose situation for you. Do you think he's too small?
Boxing trainer Andre Rosier has expressed concerns about a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He believes it could be too risky for Crawford, saying, "I don't like it. Canelo hasn't been shaken by anyone, even though he's faced some serious punchers." Rosier added that if the fight is about money, that's one thing, but he worries Crawford's impressive legacy could be hurt if he tries to take on too much. Meanwhile, junior welterweight Adrian Bronner also praised Crawford, calling him the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. However, Bronner pointed out that his teammate Gervonta "Tank" Davis is the biggest star in the sport today.
That's my dude. That's my dude. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll say it a million times over. I don't like it.
On June 7th, at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, Bronner suffered a loss to Blair Cobbs in a fight broadcast on pay-per-view. When asked who he believes is the best fighter in boxing, Bronner took a moment to think before answering. "If I'm being honest, it's Terence Crawford," he said in Las Vegas. "When it comes to pure boxing, Terence Crawford is the best to me."
Canelo hasn't been rattled by anybody, and he's been in there with some big punches. And I don't like that fight for Crawford.
He's 5-0 over 12-round fights. Davis never passed 9.
Bronner added a qualifier to his statement, saying, "If we're talking about who the #1 fighter is, it's Gervonta Davis." He explained that a Tank Davis fight is more than just a match, it's an event. Bronner has known Davis since he was 14 years old, and despite Davis's rise to fame and becoming one of boxing's biggest stars, he still shows Bronner the same respect.
Adrian, who's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the movement?
Right now, being honest, Terence. I would say Terence Crawford. For me, will be Terence Crawford. If we speaking,
has always had the talent, Bronner said about Davis, but what I respect the most is how he's handled his success. A lot of people in his position might have changed, but he hasn't. No matter how much money, fame, or recognition he gets, he still looks at me like a big brother.
Specifically boxing, Terence Crawford for me. But if we speaking who that nigga in boxing is, who that guy is, the #1 guy.
The thing to me is Pedraza is more powerful as a righty. He's come out as a lefty and shows.
While many fans are urging Saul Canelo Alvarez to move up in weight and face the powerful David Benavidez, the most likely next opponent for Canelo is Terence Crawford. Crawford is scheduled to fight Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds on August 3rd in Los Angeles. This fight is a big deal for the boxing world because it will be the first event in the U.S. organized by promoter Turki Al Alik, backed by Saudi Arabia.
Gervonta Davis. I mean, you know, when you go to a Tank fight, it's not just a fight.
If Crawford defeats Madrimov, promoter Alik has already stated his plans to arrange a Crawford versus Canelo fight by the end of 2024. And in heavyweight boxing, actions often speak louder than words. After Canelo's victory over Jaime Munguia in May, ESPN discussed the exciting possibility of this matchup. "You have two of the top fighters of this decade. Not just the past year," they said. "You've got the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world and the biggest money draw in boxing. The Kingdom is offering huge purses, making it likely that no obstacles will stand in the way." Crawford doesn't seem worried about moving up to face Canelo, who weighed in at 168 pounds for the Munguia fight. Meanwhile, Canelo has made it clear that he's focused on earning big paydays at this point in his career, not seeking validation from fans who want him to fight Benavidez at 175 pounds. That's all for now. For the latest updates on everything happening in the world of boxing, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our top content. Until next time, peace out.